And a pleasant good evening to you with Dave Dickens. I'm Ramon Scott, East County post game regular season final edition, Dave. It was a record setting night in the East County here in San Diego County, quite frankly, with some of our performances here. Did feel like maybe everybody was a little bit tired on defense here as we got the last week of action. We're going to really just try to go through the scores and also kind of tell where we'll be come tomorrow with the playoff pairings. Looks like we might know who's in, who's out, who's where, who's going where, and who is making the playoffs. But we do have our scores here tonight, Dave, and great to see you. Missed you this week, so let's get into it. Here tonight, Dave, from our friends, sponsored by Granite Mortgage and Lakeside Equipment. Dave will start it off with the Granite Hills Eagles. It's not a typo on your screen here, Dave. Granite Hills, 90 points tonight in a win over Grossmont. This certainly for Granite Hills solidifies their position probably as a top seed here in Division One. We'll see how it shakes out. They were on the edge of the Open Division playoffs, but we're number 6 coming into the week. They would have needed some help here, Dave, in the final night of the season, but all they had to do was take care of business. And hey, look, there's a reason why they might not make it into the top 4 right now, and it was on display in the first half. Grossmont made every bit of this game here tonight. It was a rough night, really, for both defenses, obviously. Yes, Granite Hills totally stifled Grossmont pretty much in the second half, Dave, but it was the Eagles with putting up 90 points. You said it was a record-setting. I believe it might be a tie for 11-man football. But again, you're talking about a record here, basically for the big schools. There was a team from several years ago that did put up 90 in an 11-man football game, but nothing like we saw here tonight, Dave, with the Eagles, 90 points against Grossmont.
Well, and not only that, but they also combined, they also had another record established for the county record is 136 points for the county. So a lot of records being broken this year, and it's been done by Granite, but they sure didn't look like they were breaking much in the first half. I'll tell you that much. I hadn't seen Granite play like that in probably since they played Perry.
Yeah, it was a little rough there. They got off to a hot start there, Dave. Actually, Granite jumping out to a big lead tonight. Ingram had a couple of touchdowns early. Trenton Ingram from Benitez there. 2 quick scores. He had 3 on the night, Dave. A couple of touchdowns, and then Turner, a 4-yard run, and it was 21-0.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem, and I'm not going to ever undermine the coaches, especially at Granite Hills, but I think they should have really stuck with the run because that was what was working. If you look at the numbers, and I'm sure when the stats come out, you're going to see if they would have ran the ball, I could tell you right now, just guessing, it would have probably been another 50 points in there. They were much more effective on the ground. Why they chose to go to the air so often, which wasn't really like them tonight, but I think that's what happened. And then in the second, and in the not just them, their defense also, they were missing tackles. Their secondary, that's top in the county, they're usually right there, and they were not making tackles. They weren't tackling like they normally would. It looked like a completely different team.
Yeah, after that, Grossmont, we're not here to tell you it's not over. It was 21-0, but then you had Noah Walker, 1-yard touchdown reception from Tommy Donovan. The Eagles came right back. Benitez to Turner for a touchdown from 11 yards, but Grossmont came back. Walker again, a touchdown reception, Dave. It was 28-12 here at this point, and Turner, a 20-yard run to extend the Granite Hills lead. But the Eagles found a way with the passing, and we've seen it on display all season, Dave, but just not against the number 1 team in the East County. That was the impressive part about the Foothillers and them that kept coming back of the 67-yarder to Vanderburg that made it 34-18.
Yeah, I mean, I think they found uh, they watched a lot of film, and what I saw that they were real. It was a familiar play. At least 3 times they ran those streaks to Vanderburg right down the sideline, and that was like their third down play in their back pocket. And in the first half, that's exactly what worked, and that's what the doctor ordered. And you know what kind of arm that Donovan has. He could throw it 70 yards easily.
Now Vanderburg was shaken up in the game. Is that right? When did that occur? Did that occur much after that? Because
Yeah, he was actually, and he was actually getting ready to score. He was stopped at the 1 yard line, and his knee, the defender had landed on it the way it shouldn't be landed on. He did have to have 2 people help him off. He couldn't walk off the field. There was no ambulance to see in sight, but it's such a shame because he's like I think he is the top receiver in the county.
yeah, no doubt. We need Vanderburg healthy here. Will be interesting, Dave. We'll talk about in a minute, but right now, these 2 teams are right here for Grossmont here. We'll talk about Granite Hills. We kind of did there, but it is key to note that they are a top seed here, possibly in Division 4 here. Not a top seed, but could get a bye with their position, even with this loss here tonight. So we'll see. We're going to touch on them here, try to tell everyone where their team is going to lie tomorrow. I don't think I'm always right, but I'm just going off the ratings, and they tell me that that's what they use, Dave, except they can flip-flop a team if the 2 teams are right next to each other and the lower team beats the higher team. That's the only time they will switch teams really in the seating. So after that, it was a 5-yard touchdown. Benitez to Fry that extended the lead to 41-18. Then Walker from Donovan, a 21-yarder, 26. And Walker again, he had a big night of catches. That's 4 I've counted here so far, Dave, and it's a touchdown, 4 yards from Donovan, and then a third consecutive touchdown from Grossmont, a 4-yard run from DeMar Smith here. And all of a sudden, this is a game here, Dave, with Grossmont stringing together some touchdowns here and they eventually get to within a few. But what was going on there with all that action with the?
I want to say that at the half, I couldn't believe it myself. The announcer couldn't believe it. I don't think any Granite Hills players could believe it. I mean, it was 41-30. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous when you were already up by 4 touchdowns. And then what happened to your defense? Fell asleep. They couldn't make tackles. They were slipping off tackles. Don't get me wrong, because Gavin had probably at least 3 or 4 sacks. He had some bat downs. And he got even better as the night wore on. I think what happened is Coach Cobbs, I think he just did a little talking to the defense and said, we need to stop these guys somehow. They're doing the same thing every time. We're not putting enough pressure. They weren't putting any pressure. They were letting him sit back there and throw it at will. What I do see though. So they came back. Granite Hill.
It was 41 to make it clear, Dave. It was that made it 41-34, a 7-point game at halftime. Go ahead.
Correct. And then they came out in the third, and then Matar, which that's not a name that we call too often, but
he's been striking here the last couple of weeks.
And he had a 14-yard touchdown run, and that was pretty much right out of the gates with 6:28 left in the third. And then Turner, he had a 22-yard touchdown run with 2:35 left.
Yeah, that was set up by that interception by Parker Vance. I think that was the one that was overthrown there, right? Or no, maybe it was a different one, but Vance had an interception to set up that score.
Correct. And then, Logan Vance, I do have the arrow. That was exactly what happened there. And then we had and I'm gauging this. The announcer didn't have it, but I'm gauging it about a 60-yard touchdown pass from Donovan to our big number 17, Amari. And that.
Riley, yeah, that was a big one, man. That made it 55-46. So again, still just a 9-point lead.
And then, they kept going, and then I think it started getting out of hand. Ingram had, I think it was when he started to it was his third on the night. He had a 35-yard touchdown pass from Benitez. And what was also interesting is they did have a unsportsmanlike penalty. I believe it was mid fourth quarter, and I feel it's better not to say who it was, but one of the Hillers was ejected for that, as they don't tolerate that type of behavior, even at the high school level. So there was an ejection for the Foothillers, and that also put Granite Hills right back where they like to be, and that's in the end zone. But I mean, they just continued to score, and I'd say that they owned the end of the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, for sure. Also in there, Turner, a 32-yard touchdown run, made it 62-46. Smith had an interception. Then Benitez to, I believe, Emilio Vera might have been getting in the end zone there, made it 69-46. Benitez to Lathan Fry made it 76-46. And at that point, you knew we were seeing something special here. 2 more scores. By this time, the running clock was near going here. And then Benitez there. At the end of the game, they got another score. It might have been Lewis. By that time, I got to be honest, Dave, I was trying to produce the show, get the show ready, but I did see a short pass, a screen pass to the right. Might have been Lewis. I don't know if he's in there at 90-46, but I will say this, Dave. All kidding aside, those uniforms that the Eagles were wearing tonight, other than the fact that the numbers are white, they were absolutely beautiful.
I think you liked them a little bit more too, because I think they remind you of your hometown team that used to wear those when they the San Diego Chargers.
Those uniforms tonight, I can get behind those. The gray ones are cool. These uniforms are really cool, man. They look so sweet. I hope I'm not I hope they like them as much as I do. I'm a uniform geek, and like I said, other than the white numbers, then maybe I couldn't see if that was Brendan that got that TD, and I was having a little bit of trouble even with the beautiful camera that Mr. Zander brought to us. I don't know if you've seen those this year at all, or if that was the first time here on senior night. But I think I would have noticed them before. Those things were tight.
Okay. Those are the first ones that I really enjoyed, and I did want to also commend somebody's name that was called all night, and Gavin Taylor was on the quarterback. I don't know how many times he was making. I think he probably led in tackles. Don't have the exact stats for that, but I wanted to also say, let's not forget about even later in the game. They had a strip ball from one of the runners. I didn't catch it from one of the Granite Hills runners. And then here we go again. Benitez, 25-yard pass to Mr. Fry. And then here's another touchdown. And then what? Did we have to go Benitez to Lewis again for another 8 yards? I guess we had to. I mean.
Okay, was Lewis then? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, great.
It was just what I was a little confused earlier in the season why you thought maybe they shouldn't have been ranked as high as everybody says. And after I saw that first half, and that's my alumni, I realized why. I mean, you can't start off so like that against these teams in the playoffs, or they'll take advantage of that real quick.
Here's the only thing that's going to happen, okay, because all the other teams did win. So Granite Hills, I think, is going to be, unless something could happen here. Mission Hills 4, and I don't know how they would work it out with the open division. Granite Hills would have to finish 5th. Mission Hills is 4th. They do say that they will flip-flop teams if the team directly below the team above defeated them. And Granite Hills did beat Mission Hills. Now, San Marcos did win their game. They are the team in 5th place ahead of Granite Hills. So unless those strength of schedules, and I don't know, those Granite Hills did not improve their strength of schedule with tonight's opponent, with all due respect to the Foothillers. And meanwhile, for those teams above, La Costa Canyon, they won again to remain undefeated. They beat the number 10 team in the county. San Marcos, they were number 5 coming in. They won at home 27-21, and they beat the 13th ranked team in the county, right? So we know Grossmont isn't anywhere. They're down there right now, David, like in the low 40s, like the 43, 44, 45 range. Mission Hills won yesterday and beat Poway 38-21. Poway's number 20. So I just don't think there's a formula here for Granite Hills to move into even 5th place. And I believe that Granite Hills will be the number 2 seed in the Division 1 tomorrow morning, or I guess right about there when they announce the pairings tomorrow. They'll certainly be a top 4 seed here as the top team in the East County this season with an 8-2 record. You could expect them to be a contending team here, Dave, in the Division 1 playoffs, if not the favorite with San Marcos. That would be an ideal matchup if it is San Marcos. I don't know if San Marcos is going to pass Mission Hills. I guess there probably is a formula for that, but to see, I think, Granite Hills and San Marcos possibly in a Division 1 final, other contenders in Division 1 that appear on the way to getting the buys here look like Carlsbad and El Camino. Mount Miguel may end up having to play that first week. They did win tonight. We'll talk about it in just a moment, but right now, Granite Hills enjoying a good seed. Meanwhile, for Grossmont, Dave, they're going to suffer even a little bit, I'm sure, with this loss, even though it was an expected kind of loss to a certain, you know what I mean. And right now, they came into this week ranked right now at 43rd, which would have been the 3rd seed, right behind El Cap, believe it or not, Dave. So Grossmont, they could fall down a little bit. They might get a bye. They could get a top 4 seed here, the Grossmont Foothillers in Division 4, Dave. This will be Division 4. Grossmont, a top seed. El Capitan, they're going to get a top 4 seed. They might even be number 1 over Ramona here. But El Cap and Grossmont could meet, Dave, in the Division 4 championships or semifinals right there. They're going to be both a high-ranking seed in Division 4. How about that?
And I'm thinking back too, just to add one more note to Granite Hills, is if you would have just at least beat one of those teams, either Perry, or if you would have beaten Cathedral Catholic, that would have rocketed them up real quick, and I think that would have possibly even went to the open division.
Yeah, Coach Midday saying, that they should flip-flop those two teams. I think he's talking about that situation. But again, I think Granite Hills has to finish directly. They will only, by what I read here, Dave, they have to be directly behind them. So we'll see. They need a little movement there with those 4 and 5 teams. We'll just have to leave it to the powers that be, Dave. They don't pay us enough money to really break it down and figure out all those numbers here. But that's the way I'm looking at it here right now. All right. Thank you, Coach. And thank you to my guy. Hey, thank you to my buddy Swig here today. How about that? He wants to listen to me in stereo. All right, Dave. Let's move on. I don't have pardon me, Dave. Don't have much here, brother, but the Highlanders rolled 62-20. They were scoring early and often tonight. Helix will finish 4-6 here, Dave, and head into the postseason. 2-2 in league play, beating Steel Canyon handily tonight. Got nothing for you, Dave. I did watch a little bit of the action, but I knew that Helix was getting away. And like I said, there were a lot of scores tonight with some of these teams. With all due respect to the Highlanders, we'll clean it up here maybe next week when we get into the postseason here. But just go ahead, Dave.
When's the last time we saw Helix with this type of record.
Sure, a little bit of a rough year here for the Highlanders, but get this, Dave, the Highlanders are certainly going to be right there. I would have to say, probably a top 4 seed in Division 4, in Division 2 here. Helix is likely to be a top seed with the likes of, I would assume here, Santa Fe Christian, maybe Brawley in there as well, Bishops, Poway, and get this, Dave, also in the mix here with in Division 2 is going to be the Christian Patriots. So Helix and Christian are the teams that will likely be in Division 2 postseason here, Dave. How about that? Could we see I've always wanted to see the Highlanders take on the Patriots. Maybe it could happen. I don't know if it will, given the seedings. Like I said, we'll have to see how it shakes down. I guess there always is a possible collision course. They don't even, I think the rules say they don't even care now if, I don't say care, but the rules say you can meet a fellow league opponent. That's not the case, of course, with Helix and Christian. I'm just saying for reference, I think they don't mind matching up league opponents. I think they just do if it comes out that way with the ratings. So Helix, a big win tonight to finish 2-2 in the Hills League, Steel Canyon. They finished winless here this year, 4-6. It felt like they were a better, they looked like a much better team on the field. They actually, with some of the talent they had. Now, for Steel Canyon, Dave, they are, of course, in the postseason. They will be represented in Division 3 here, Dave, right now. They're probably going to come in right around number real close. They actually if things, I didn't look at all the scores, there is a chance, I guess, they could slide down to Division 4, but more likely one of the lower seeds here in Division 3. They'll have their work cut out for them in there to try to catch some of those good teams in that division. This division is headed up by teams probably such as Central Union, Holtville, Escondido, San Diego, Eastlake, Patrick Henry, San Pasqual, Otay Ranch, and maybe our favorite, our Army Navy team could be also in the mix here in that division as well. Maybe here for Steel Canyon, I think they'll be the only East County. If they don't fall to Division 4, they'll be the only East County team, I believe, in Division 3.
Well, out of all those, I think their best shot would be with Eastlake, to be honest, if they wanted to get the win out of all the teams that you mentioned. And I, like you said, we didn't get all the details with the Helix game tonight, but I will tell you, I think it's the biggest problem still with Steel Canyon is they don't hold on to the ball. The turnover bug has got to be taken care of for them to get some wins in the W column.
Okay, Dave, it's official tonight. We did say last week, even though we were, telling they printed up they officially clinched at least a share of the title last week. And really, they only had to win one of the last 2 games. Those shirts were always going to be good to go, Dave, no matter what. It's just for good here. The Christian Patriots do get the unanimous undefeated record here to win the City League. And those shirts, it kind of touted it there, Dave, a little bit on the TV station last week that, boy, some nerve of the Patriots to print up those league championship shirts. And maybe it was for that game against San Diego, even though we know they went out and dominated. They dominated this one 49-0 here against the Morse Tigers, like we said they would.
We remember we heard it from some of the horses' mouths that they were indeed they were kind of already thinking elsewhere, which we know we're not supposed to do. But they knew they were going to Morse and they were going to make some noise, and boy did they, because they even threw Wilkins in there, and you know what? He even decided to join in and throw something to add to his portfolio.
Well, early on, the Patriots, I guess, I don't know, did they practice their onside kick? They didn't need it here to try to win the game. They didn't get it, but Tigers threw a pick 6 there, Dave, early, I believe, with Taylor with the run back there, and then Runkle to Kai Rozier for a 50-yard passing touchdown. It was 14-0 early.
Yeah, and the thing I liked most, the best news. Our buddy that we've been checking on since he went down, uh, Mr. Moronis, 4 yard touchdown run. Hey, that gets him back in there. It sounds like he's healthy and good to go. Uh, by then they were up 28-0, but Morse really never stopped him anyway. They turned the ball over on downs, and then our guy Runkle passed. I don't know how many times. It sounds like a broken record, but Eads is going to have a touchdown in every single game. And he hasn't proved me wrong yet.
We've been hooked up twice at least in this one, right?
Yep, he had the one to Eads to 25 from Runkle, and then he had one later. And yep, that was the 20-yard touchdown pass.
Man.
And that put him up 35-0. That was before the half, so he already had him.
Yeah.
And then from there, Morris is punting, and then by that time we're doing a running clock at the fourth, heading to the fourth, and Wilkins is in there. And then let's not forget about our we talked about him last week. 16-yard rushing touchdown by Chase Togerson. PAT was good. They're up 42-0 with 2 minutes left in the third. You even mentioned that he might be related to somebody in the media business.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. We had Chase on last week. We talked to them. Remember, after the game, they were kind of enamored that we had a picture of the T-shirts. Remember, they were like, they got the T-shirts. That was funny.
They thought they flew them into us or something.
They were at Canes or something last week. So these guys know how to dine, man. I think we should be hanging with the Patriots after the games. But Togerson, he was all over the place in the first half defensively.
Yeah, they said that probably we will get the stats tomorrow morning from Mr. Davila, but he said he probably led the team in first half with tackles. I mean, he was making them all.
Wilkins also touchdown pass to Mason Turvey. Is that right? We keep it in the family at Christian High. That made it 49-0. There, the running clock was on as well. So Christian Dave with the win here tonight. And like I said, they will be mixing it up in Division 2 here. Now they're going to be kind of in the middle of the pack. Like I said, they'll be right there, probably, with Mount Carmel, with Point Loma, University City, Poway. These are some of the teams that the Patriots could be facing here, moving forward here, because they'll have to play a game in the first round. They won't get a bye, I don't think.
Which I think this type of team and how their motor runs, I think they'd rather not take a bye and they'd rather keep going. And I wanted to just mention the last, just how they play with class. Spencer started off as their quarterback, and while their transfer from Granite was sitting down for a couple of games, and so what they decided to do with 45 seconds left in the game, after a turnover and downs, they gave the ball to Spencer, took a victory formation, took a knee to end the game, and that is how classy a team like the Christian Patriots are, is they want to involve everybody as a team.
All right, good job, Christian, and that'll be exciting in Division 2. Really, we always want to see Christian match up against, well, let's face it, some of these teams that maybe might be a little bit higher on the rung, if you will. So, man, would I like to see them matched up against some of those teams that I just mentioned, teams like UC or Mount Carmel. And again, the teams that look like they'll have the bye in Division 2, to me, look like here, Dave, Santa Fe Christian, Brawley, and Helix, possibly Bishops as well.
I think I think I have a very good feeling though that Christian is going to be in for one more than one round with all the talent and the speed that they have, and the hands team that they have, and let's not forget the defense.
Okay, let's move to the Grossmont Valley League tonight. We know El Capitan. Let me just get this one. We don't have many details on this one here, Dave. So let me just get this one out of the way. We do have a lot on our next game, but El Capitan rolled to victory tonight, 5-0 here, 7-3 overall, beating the Braves, finished 0-10. Tyler Easley had an interception return for a touchdown in the first quarter, and Spencer Chastang had a punt return in the first quarter for a touchdown. The Eagles, I believe, the Vaqueros also, I believe, recorded a safety in the early going, and that's how they got it started. I don't even know if we need to go much further than there here against the Braves tonight, but that's what we know was 64-0 El Capitan over the Braves here to finish undefeated in the Grossmont Hills League, a
Well,
Valley League.
let's just look at it real quick. I mean, El Capitan, they lost those three in a row, and that's all it took. And from there, they won every single game until the end of this regular season. So good game plan, coaches.
Ryder Powers with a pick six also late. That's when all the guys got a chance to play in the game there. In fact, he had two interceptions in the fourth quarter. Ryder Powers, shout out, good job there. And also Brady Geralaman, he had a touchdown run in the second half. El Cap just ran, basic plays and were able to get it done here. So let's get into some excitement here right now. I just say exciting. There was some scoring. It was a close game actually for some of the way. Here was a 7-7 at the end of the first quarter with West Hills and Santana, but then West Hills got a defensive touchdown in the game, Dave, to kind of set the tone for this one. This one was at Santana. It was really to see, who was going to finish here at 3-2 between the two rivals. The city trophy, the city mayor's cup here, won by West Hills this time around. Santana did block a punt and then got a touchdown pass to keep the game tied at 14 all. West Hills then got a touchdown run to make it to get one of their touchdowns was a run. I think I'm kind of mixing up the scores here, Dave, a little bit. Bear with me. Santana had an 18-yard pass from, I think Caden Hallman was playing quarterback. Looked like number 5 in there with those gold numbers on purple uniforms. Again, for me, I'm sorry. But Denton Gore had a touchdown reception as well. West Hills did have Sluzkowski with a field goal that made it 17-14 at halftime. Then a halfback option pass, Dave, for the Wolfpack made it 24-14 as they were able to get the score. I believe Junior Leon may have had the touchdown reception here from a pass, and a halfback option pass, what I think, from Rosalino. I think we've seen him actually pull that move before. We know he's played quarterback, so threw it to wide open there, Junior Leon, and then a 23-yard touchdown run by Leon. West Hills was wearing silver numbers on white jerseys, so hope I got some of these right, brother, as well. Also want to say that Leo Lugo caught an interception off of a tip pass, and then West Hills capitalized on a 9-yard touchdown by Ray Garcia to make it 38-14. And then Noah Quaylen caught a touchdown pass from Hallman, 19 yards to make it 38-20, Dave, as West Hills got the road win here, Dave. They even took a knee. They were on the Santana 3-yard line when the game ended. So West Hills has the Mayor's Cup.
And what do you think now with those two teams? Which way are we going to go? I mean, you got Santana that has the better overall record, and but then you have West Hills really needed this game, and I think that pumped them up a bit.
Well, Dave, this is where things are going to get a little bit dicey, but not for the Wolfpack. This was a big win for the Wolfpack to pick this up. Now they were the lower seeded team of these two teams, so it may actually work out for both here. This in Division 5. So even though Santana here, I got to update their record. They were 6-4. Dave, sorry about that, brother. They finished 2-4, 6-4. West Hills 3-2. Make note of that. Good. Finishing 3-2 here in the Valley League. And so they're going to finish very close to one another in the standings, Dave. I would imagine we could see West Hills be one notch behind Santana and be flip-flop because they won. I would imagine both these teams are going to get in Division 5. They'll probably be among the bottom of the seedings in Division 5 here, but I have them both in Santana and West Hills making the Division 5 playoffs. Some of the other teams I think we'll see their possible buys here, Dave, for Calexico, Classical Academy, RBV, and Fallbrook. I want to say RB, they're 1-8. There's some teams in here, Dave, with some bad records that I think are headed to the postseason. So, but Santana's in there. Fallbrook, Bonita Vista, Francis Parker, Coronado, West Hills here, probably Crawford gets in, and maybe Kearney as well in Division 5. But I expect both Santee teams to compete in Division 5.
And I think, like you mentioned, Classical Academy and Crawford could be two teams that they could face, and those are not the easiest teams to roll over. Those teams did a little better than some of the other ones that you mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, with El Capitan, they're in there in Division 4. We see our Vaquero contingent there. I don't know if I touched on them clearly there, Dave, in there. I think we did, talking about them and Grossmont being, among the better teams in Division 4 here, and El Cap is actually headed for a top seed. I'm sure that they will be getting a bye unless they move up too high. There is a chance they could even fall into place here with that win tonight. It's not going to help their strength of schedule, so I just don't think they will move up dramatically. They would only have to move up about 3 spots, though, to end up in Division 3, where they would end up having to play that first week. There is a chance that could occur with Steel Canyon and El Capitan. Steel could fall out of Division 3. El Capitan could move up to Division 3. It's going to be close, actually. Looking at it here now, I kind of hope El Cap is in there in Division 4 and gets a top seed, because
absolutely
a big time threat to win it. They'll be fine too in Division 3. I think they can compete with those teams, with the likes there of the teams I mentioned, including Doesn't this sound like teams El Cap can compete with if they earned in Division 4? They'll be a favorite, a favorite. In Division 3, I think we'll get better matchups if El Capitan is in there with the likes of Henry or Eastlake or San Diego Escondido. Those all sound like interesting matchups, but we'll see. It's going to be close. And you see what Josh said. Yeah, good move up there into Division 3. But their strength of schedule isn't going to be improved with tonight's game. And that, a lot of times, is a determining factor with that strength rating. Okay. Last night, Dave, we did have action in the Valley League, and it was a good one between Monte Vista and Valhalla. Felt important. Now, look, got to be honest, Dave, I don't think it's going to be enough. But Monte Vista is going to be waiting for that schedule release tomorrow. They might be the bubble team here in the whole county right now. You got to be in the top 64 teams in the rankings in order to qualify for the postseason. Monte Vista did come into the weekend ranked 68th. But they did win, and there's a possibility with some losses here that they could move into position. Right now, Monte Vista, with the win, is waiting, and they'll be very, very close here to move up. They've got to move up about 5 spots. I already mentioned some of those teams: Kearney, Crawford, Coronado. Those are the teams there. West Hills will move up. They were already 62nd. I don't think they'll move down at all. So Alex Villanueva had a 26-yard touchdown run to make it 7-0, but then Joshua Armstrong of Valhalla answered. It made it 7-all. Villanueva, a 1-yard touchdown run, made it 14-7 Monta Vista. Then after a fumble by Valhalla, Monta Vista recovered, and it was Alex again going long, Dave, 75 yards on the ground for Villanueva. He made it 21-17. Then Marcus McHale, a 1-yard touchdown run, keeping it close, 21-14. But on the ensuing kickoff, our man Rashawn Florence picked up the ball and went 85 yards for a kickoff return, Dave, 28-14. Monta Vista led. They also added a field goal to lead 31-14 into the fourth quarter. Valhalla did pick up a touchdown, a pass, I believe it was to Sacco, a 70-yard reception to make it 31-21. And for good measure, let's give the ball one more time. Number 4 touchdown of the night for Alex Villanueva, 44-yarder to make it 38-21. Lakai Dean had an interception late, and Monta Vista did recover another late fumble. The thing I'll tell you about our man Rashawn, Dave, is he was injured just before on a couple plays before he had to kind of leave the game, came back in and had that 85-yard kickoff return. Monta Vista, Dave, it feels like at 3-2 and 5-5 when you have some of these teams in here, Fallbrook 0-9, RBV 1-8, Vista 2-7. You see a theme there, Dave, where all those teams are from? Yeah, maybe those schedules are tough, but oh well, the North County, they get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the schedule. But it does feel like at 5-5 and a league record over 500, you deserve to get in.
And I was just gonna say that, and when I was just thinking, West Hills beat Vista, and then why wouldn't it be that they would play Monta Vista as well? And that would, but for them to be on the bubble, they played too well offensively and too well defensively to be missing the playoffs. I think that they are well deserving if there is a team on the lower end, especially like you said. I mean, they played 500 in their league and then end up 500 overall. All I can say on Valhalla is, you know what? They're getting better, and watch out next year and the year after that, because they are just, I don't think they're the same Valhalla Norsemen that they've been for the last several years.
All right, Dave, a few more to touch on. We got a big result here tonight. Really just all we got is score. I have a few scoring plays to talk about. We don't know too much, but it must have been a thriller as Mount Miguel knocks Scripps Ranch from the ranks of the unbeaten. Scripps Ranch came in to tonight's game. Now, granted, their schedule here, was a little bit, easier. They were ranked just 14th in the computer rankings this week. Mount Miguel was ahead of them, and it was going to be a close game no matter what. But Mount Miguel rallied twice, I believe, here. They led early. They scored on their first drive to make it 6-0. KJ Shields had a 34-yard run to make it 13-0 late in the first quarter. Scripps scored to close to within 13-8. Stadher, the running back, had a big night scoring touchdowns, but Mount Miguel, Stowers to Arrington, 23 yards. It was 19-8 with 5 minutes left in the first half. Scripps Ranch made it 19-16 in the third quarter, and another touchdown run by Stadter. But Mount Miguel got in the third quarter a field goal, but the Falcons took a 23-22 lead on another touchdown from Stadter. But that's the last we heard. And obviously, Dave, there was still 2 more touchdowns to come for each team here. And I would imagine, given the fact that the Falcons led 23-22 and Mount Miguel has a 15 after that, they ended up going in with a 2-point conversion, whether it was at the buzzer or it was just in the fourth. It feels like to me Mount Miguel, just speculate. I have no idea. The highlights are about to come on here, I believe, on the local channel. and we'll see. But it feels like whether or not it was in the last second or if they just felt like in the fourth quarter, obviously they needed the 2-point conversion here to win. Mount Miguel, a chance that they could, Dave, move up here and maybe receive a bye, but they could get a bye in Division One here with Granite Hills actually, and be a top 4 seed because I'll tell you because El Camino here. Let's see, they ended up. They lost to Carlsbad. That's still going to be strong strength of schedule. It's going to be close. They might end up with number 5. It's going to be close for me right now.
Well,
Thank you, John. He's got it here. Scripps Ranch went for 2 to win it. So they must have gone for, because it was, from what I understand, it was 23. Let me just finish this thought. It was 23-22. Final score, I think 37-36. So maybe Scripps Ranch had actually gone for 2 points earlier in the fourth quarter or with the previous score and made it had 30 points. So then they get a touchdown and then they decide to go for 2. Okay. Thanks, Josh, for that. Go ahead, Dave. Did you want to comment here on the Matadors?
I just wanted to say that I bet you they really wish that they would have they had a shot at it early, is knocking off the Eagles. If they would have knocked off the Eagles, boy, they'd be in a high spot with a bye for guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Dave. I think that will wrap it up for the show. One other score was Maranatha Christian over Mountain Empire. And Mountain Empire, unfortunately, Dave, has finished with the lowest rating in the county this season. So no problem there. We'll be back with more Red Hawks football. But great job here, Dave. And again, I think we've touched on it. Braves are going to miss the playoffs here, obviously, with their 0-10 record. But just to recap here, Dave, it feels like Granite Hills and Mount Miguel headed for Division One postseason. Helix and Christian likely Division Two. Steel Canyon Division 3, maybe Division 4. El Cap Division 4, maybe Division 3. Grossmont Division 4, and Santana and West Hills, I believe, will get Division 5. West Hills for sure. Santana pretty darn sure. They would take some wins down there. I don't know how they could even be left out of the playoffs, even with the loss tonight.
Well, we all knew that Valley was going to be real dicey. Minus El Cap, the rest of the ones down there, they a tough ending. And we thought that Santana was going to be the ones that started off, and that's why we play the games, right? So
yeah,
but now it's sorry, folks. We didn't do the picks. A little under the weather myself, and I didn't think that the audience deserved listening to absolute mute. So, but I would never miss the post game, and I'm looking forward to the playoffs personally. And we will find out early tomorrow morning or earlier tomorrow.
It's about 1 p.m. now. It seems like with these guys, but. Just a great regular season, Dave. Thank you for everything. We're going to be with you here for the next few more weeks here. We'll run out of team. Hopefully we won't lose them too quickly here, Dave, but we'll cover them here with you in the postseason. Next week, we'll probably have those brackets up too in the morning or by the afternoon anyway. So great job.
Well, we got some strong teams, and I think that a couple of them are going to be in there for quite a while.
Yeah.
And let's again thank our sponsors at Lakeside Equipment and Granite Mortgage, and to our viewers also. It's been a great regular season with all of you, and look forward to some postseason action. I think it's going to get real hot real quick. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.